recording,
I have just done so.
Natalie? Wonderful, thank you. So, last session aboard the Quiver Sail, sailing bravely towards the Serrated Isles, a chain unknown to the so-called civilized world. Seemingly anyone that approaches is lost, all hands lost, or quickly diverts as the ship begins to scrape and wreck upon the dangerous reefs and rocks that seem to surround the isles, all in turn turned back by the Sari, who seem to take up a sentinel-like attitude towards the isles themselves, without any explanation, no matter how angry and outraged the demands of Hespian or Sedistraean or Sedistrite, I have to think about that, or Glamorand folk might be. With all this in mind, or perhaps not in mind considering his mental capacities, the Lord Ernst Quivershank has paid handsomely for you, your passengers, crew, marines, retinue, to set off to forge a brave new colony upon the Isles and do what has never seemingly been done before. Last session specifically, we had a lot of bits and pieces happening. You took on board shipwrecked sailors. Pushkin was very diplomatic with the Lord himself. Portia did amazing work healing people. But even with all the healing and everything, they seemed lost and despairing at the Lord's and Pushkin's attitude towards the potential danger that lies ahead of you. They warned that their ship...
What danger?
They warned that their ship, the Noble Cause, a large passenger ship bound from Discovery only 5 days ago, was wrecked by a large creature, and you figured out it was a razorback. Salia in particular was confused. Large razorbacks tend to descend to the depths of the oceans to hunt larger prey. They never appear on the surface. Didn't make any sense. But with that in mind, the day wore on, and Portia, we now know to be Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
Eleanor Grassfoot, put her plans into action and managed to bring Dun Bloodhorn to a drinking game at the party in the evening. Raucous goings on, Salia drinking plenty and beating the shit out of an old orc, which was fully justified and incredibly provoked by his racist attitude and terrible fighting skills. Portia managed to win the drinking contest with a little bit of help from Pushkin's own concoctions. But this seemed to be only a first step, and she invited Dan Bloodhorn to her chamber. She wasn't the only one with overt advances. The Burgomaster was ensorcelled and did some charming of his own by the Yuan Ti shipwreck survivor, Suntia. Had a very, very pleasant night indeed, though finds his bed empty now. Portia, Eleanor's story was a little bit different. Bringing Dern into her chambers, Dern's still very drunk. She herself quickly sobered up as much as possible. She revealed the trap. And in a swift, one-sided melee, blood and slashing scimitar, Dern was slain. And Portia wreaked her bloody vengeance upon the Minotaur, calling out names, people that perhaps meant a lot to her. The sword itself seemed to transform, now taking up on a much more dark edge, and Portia unable to sleep, Eleanor unable to sleep, lost in the grim reality of where she finds herself and the empty promises of vengeance. Had to drink the poison she bought in Discovery just to get away from the pain of consciousness. The night passed. So, we find ourselves on the morning of your third day of your voyage. Already rolled for the weather and for Specular Sophists' solo survival check, and all seems to be good. The weather is holding, and you travel onwards towards your destination. There is a very important roll that needs to happen, and I didn't want to do it myself. Certainly not out of the session. So I'm going to say, Natalie, please, could you just roll a simple D20 for me?
A 2.
Okay. So be it. Now, the drow poison that you drank,
Mm-hmm.
listening back to last session, you said it causes you to be unconscious until you are awoken.
I believe so, yeah.
Is that all the detail it gives? Just says awoken? Does it say an action is needed? Does it say anything?
Let me quickly look it up for you.
Trying to determine whether it needs to be like shaken awake or you could hear loud sounds and be woken up.
Creature wakes up if it takes damage, or if another creature takes an action to shake it awake.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, it does say the poison only lasts for 1 hour, though. And is unconscious whilst poison in this way.
Oh, okay.
I
That changes
didn't
things then.
notice that before.
That's fine. Good thing we had a reread. So, the first scene we're going to go to, as the blood drips through the floorboards of your room into uncertain spaces below, Portia, is you hear a knock on your door.
Okay. God, I didn't expect to be thrown into it this quick.
You wake, the strong, acrid smell of iron fills your room. The body of Durn Bloodhorn still lying lifeless on the floor. Blood pooled broadly around the chamber. There's barely any room to step where there isn't his life essence. You, in a state of disrepair, if you like, bed sheets muddled and creased. It seems you had a fitful night of dreaming following the effects of the poison, though you don't remember any. And now you just hear a knock, fairly gentle, 3 raps at your door.
I think she would instinctually pull her sleeves up, but she wouldn't answer. She would ignore it.
Okay. After 2 sets of knocks, you hear a young girl's voice. You recognize this to be Pelcy Dunstrip. Portia, I think it's time to wake up.
Ah, fuck. Hearing Palsy's voice, she can't help but feel some sense of responsibility, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to her feet and just calls out, I'll be there soon.
Okay. You hear like a loud jingling. Dad wanted you to have a cut of the profits from last night. Well, we're all really grateful. You showed the Merryhold spirit, and he made a lot of money on the bets. You winning that contest against the Minotaur. I'll just leave it outside. You hear the jingling plonk of something heavy being laid outside your your door, and her footsteps going away.
She just looks back at the body on her floor. Looks down at the sword. She doesn't... The hatred still is just there, even in his dead body. He's been the focal point of her hatred for so long. It doesn't go away. It's not gone. She doesn't feel any different, and that frightens her.
Sense to me. Yeah, if she's staying there, we will jump over to Pushkin. Only a quick one for you, kind of dealing with your day's formalities. With the extra crew on the ship, are you still feeding everyone the same?
Yeah, I think he would.
Cool.
Maybe except the prisoner, who he'd want to go down and see, actually.
Yeah, first thing.
He'd go down before breakfast.
Got it.
Before he starts cooking.
Yeah, you head down into the cargo hold. I'll move us over to the ship. You head down to the cargo hold and see the makeshift... Well, actually it's not makeshift, this is a warship. The properly put together brig. There you see Dredge currently facing away from you, kind of curled up almost in the fetal position in a corner of the steel barred cell. It's a simple setup. The bars run from floor to ceiling in this hold area, and they run up against the sides of the ship and form a clear frontage to them with a jail door locked just there.
He would he'd look down at Dredge and just be like, Dredge?
The figure immediately twitches. You see his very large ear swivel like a cat's to just turn towards you. And the figure almost creaks as he stretches himself and turns to face you. And again, as you see his face, you're reminded of just how awful this guy looks. Deep bags, pale, sallow skin. Just looks up at you. Yes?
You tried to purloin my purse, did you not?
I wanted something to drink.
You could have just asked. And Pushkin would have a little bottle of wine on him that he brought down from the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can Dredge see it?
he'd hold it out, yeah.
Oh my god.
He'd also bought a little cup, like a ceramic cup.
Yeah, there's like a flurry of movement, and Dredge is immediately at the bars, one hand clasping at the other, with the arm outstretched as far as possible towards the bottle, and he's just muttering, "Thank you."
Well,
Yes.
Why did you try it? Well, what are your skills, boy? Even if this guy looks older than him.
His eyes stay on the bottle, but he talks to you. I'm fast, quicker than anyone else. I usually I can get away with moving things around. I can help the ship. I can pull sail. I can scrub the deck. I can run and fight.
He'd be like, you know who's in charge of the goods and food and alcohol on this ship? Besides the Lord, of course.
It must be you, drink, man. You drink, man.
Yes, exactly. Dredge, I'm going to ask you something.
I listen.
If I keep you supplied with a little bit of alcohol throughout the journey, would you consider being my runner when we get to the Serrated Isles?
His eyes actually like look up to yours for the first time. There's like a little bit of suspicion. Make a persuasion check, but at advantage.
Oh god, just one. Persuasion.
Oh, come to a 10. The eyes narrow slightly, and you notice, Pushkin, that in this state he seems more and more bestial, like the fangs elongate and the fur's shaggier. He says, a little drink each day is not enough. I need more.
Dredge, we're heading to a new world. You'll need a job when you get there. There's no going back. Maybe I can give you a bit more than a little, but I need a runner, real fast. And if I can supply you this, maybe you'll be reliable. And he'd like pour him half a cup and hand him the ceramic cup.
Or as soon as it's poured and the smell like wafts out, you can see his nostrils flare and all resistance crumbles away, and he's just like, yes, 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 and puts both arms through the grates to like grip towards the cup.
He's like, you don't have to keep this secret. We're all friends around here. I just want to know that you'll work for me when we get to shore. And when we get to shore, I will speak positively on your behalf.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Does he have the drink now? Do you let him take it, or?
Yeah, he'd take it. He'd give it to him.
Oh yeah, he's just like glug glug glug, drinks it down, and there's a visible sense of the body just relaxing as the alcohol works through his system.
So,
yep, go ahead.
keep your ears open, Dredge, and well, I can just say when we get to shore that you tricked. And it was a misunderstanding on my part. And he like takes off his hat and does a little bow.
Dredge holding the cup, now empty, and it looks like it takes all his willpower not to like stick his nose into it and lick around the side of the cup. Does a little bow back to you with his head. It's just like, oh, thank you, Master.
Pushkin.
Pushkin, Master Pushkin, Lord Pushkin, thank you.
No, I'm not a lord yet, but maybe one day. And he'd take the cup from... Has he got it?
Yes, but if you gestured for it to come back, now that it's empty,
No.
you would. Oh?
He'd just pour him, like, a quarter of a glass. He's like, to tide you over, I will see you soon, Dredge.
Thank you, Master, thank you. And you hear, like, the clanging of the cup against the rails. See you soon. Calls out as you leave.
Yes, tomorrow morning.
Cool. I've added Dredge to your Pushkin's people list. Very nice. Next up, you answered about the food. My favorite. Next up, we have the Burgomaster being called into the Lord's quarters for his next new Quivershank design session. This time it's not LC. This time it's back to the Burgomaster, though LC is nearby.
Thank God, what a killjoy.
As you enter, the Burgomaster seems to have put on a little bit extra, like, swag, thank you, into his outfit. The frills come up a little bit further, and he's got some jewelry on, some bling, and you can see he's like, looks like he spent ages doing his hair and all sorted. And as you come in, he's very sort of overly elegant and demonstrative in his movements, and he gestures the board with the little models on. And he's like, Burgomaster, a pleasure.
Wait, sorry. Did you mean that the Burgomaster had more swag than usual, or
No,
the Lord?
Lord.
Oh,
Lord.
okay. What's that all about?
Don't know.
Interesting. Well, yes, my Lord Quivershank.
Burgomaster. I thought today we might be a little focused in our endeavors. You've done wonderful work here, don't get me wrong, but there are some key questions that Permian helped me come up with, and I was hoping you would have the answers, as you always do. I was wondering, with good diligence paid to the great the nature spirits themselves, the Kiachur, and the transcended folk, like Serian, and he does a little nod of reverence as he says the name Serian. How do you think we should deal with worship in New Quivershank? Should we have like a temple, or leave people to their own devices?
Well, I think perhaps catering to having a building dedicated to worship, that then we can organize. There are certain times of each day that are dedicated to certain religions, and then once that's covered, it's kind of a catch-all place for anybody who wants to come and worship.
Interesting. And should this be one of the first things we do? I know with Elsie you discussed what are they? The ditches, for the fouler elements of society. Should the temple come first, or do we need the poop ditches, if you will?
Well, I think basic sanitation should possibly come first, because that can't be avoided. But I think it should definitely be one of our first priorities. I mean, we want to uphold the moral standing of New Quivershank, don't we? And it's an important thing for people to be able to have a place to go and worship.
Oh, very good. Could you roll your intelligence and wisdom checks, both with advantage, please? The Burgomaster seems to be on it today. I wonder why.
Fuck, you had the advantage.
With both those in mind, can you pick a skill for the Burgomaster to roll that you think best suits the little conversation he just had with Lord Quivershank, and make that with advantage?
I'd love the natural one if it was like, yes, maybe we could put the poop ditches as the place of worship.
Kill two birds with one stone, as you say. Survival.
Well, I think it's what you need to prioritize in a new.
I like it.
Yeah.
Advantage.
I almost went for nature because of the poop ditches, but no.
Advantage, please. Ooh, unfortunate. With the top intelligence and wisdom rolls, I think, Burgomaster, you actually get quite caught up in your own ideas and start moving stuff around. But as you start sort of talking, it becomes more about talking to yourself and your own ideas. And the Lord actually gets a little bit petulant with how you're not paying much attention to him, especially in his new drapery. And at one point, you sort of move the little model that's going to be the temple where you think would be perfect, and he just moves it off to the side, and he's like, no, actually, I think here would be better, Burgomaster. And you can see that it's actually a terrible place for it, and right next to the poo pits.
Really? I mean, well, we want a properly reverent place for people to worship, and I think the centre of town seems like a very sensible option to me. But, whatever you think, my lord.
Yes, whatever I think it is correct. No, here is perfect. If people need to poop while they're worshipping, they can just go outside.
Do you not think that might be slightly problematic, my lord?
If I thought so, I would have said so, Burgomaster. Elsie's late for her recital, aren't you, Elsie? And she stands up and starts to walk towards the piano. If you don't mind, Burgomaster, I've got some work to do.
Yes, what is the great occasion today, my lord?
I'm rolling. Oh! Got a nat 20. I'm discussing with Permian about financial infrastructure for new Quivershank and a tax system. Burgomaster.
I was hoping for a nat 20 on investigation, but it's not happening, is it? Oh, yes, well, very exciting. How can I help you, Burgomaster? I'm the fucking Burgomaster. My lord.
Oh, your help has been quite enough for today, Burgomaster. Perhaps you could see to your people, make sure they're all in order and doing what is expected of citizens of New Quivershank.
Absolutely. Do you need someone to, I don't know, perhaps style your hair, brush the lint from your shoulders?
I am not a child, Burgomaster. I've been properly prepared for the day by Elsie. I mean myself. Please leave.
No, but you are a lord, and therefore you deserve the proper attentions that entails.
Burgomaster, I feel you overstay your welcome. I must see you out.
All right. I feel very unwelcome.
There's a little from the Lord as you exit, making a great. No, I know. That was Anya giving Tom the middle finger. Right. Salia.
It wasn't, I'd like to point out, it was me giving the Lord the middle finger, not Tom, because that's rude.
Didn't know Tom called himself a lord now.
God,
It's
Emperor,
our
or
special
nothing.
names for each other. It's
Oh, gross. Salia, having finished training the Marines, you're now on to training the crew. Is there anything you would be... Oh, and first of all, I need you to make a con save to see how bad your hangover is.
Oh, yeah.
Not terrible, but not great. You don't count as poisoned, but I may adjust some DCs.
Okay.
You are brought to, or asked to come up to the deck by... It wouldn't be Icky. He ain't interested. But it would be... Where is it? Sailor. It would be each of the masters. So, well, not masters, but each of the sort of the rank below master. The sailor in charge of sail below Icky is a Hadozi. So you're met by quite an eclectic bunch. There's a Hadozi, a Loxodon, large elephantine individual, a human, a bugbear, and yeah, the deckhands would already be up on the deck. And this group, probably led by the Hadozi, would kind of knock on your quarters and just say, "We're ready for your training, Mom."
Sort of waking up, sort of reaches over and knocks something on the floor. Give me a minute.
Right, we'll be on the deck. If you open the door, there's something that might help. And you hear footsteps, especially the Loxodon walking away.
Falls back to sleep.
Okay. In the meantime, Portia, are you still staying as the day starts to move towards mid-morning?
Yeah, she's not leaving. I think she would at some point just start uncontrollably crying.
Mm-hmm.
She's not leaving the room though.
Alright. With this in mind, with Portia and Salia otherwise indisposed, oh god, this leaves Pushkin and the Burgomaster to deal with a certain situation.
The best boys are on the job.
The hats. I'll say this happens to both of you, to either separately or together. You are reported to by it would be one of the deckhands, the sailors. They'd be clutching sort of a bandana that they've pulled off their head and wringing it in front of themselves, looking very nervous. And they would say, honored people, not wishing to disturb the Lord himself, I thought I'd come to you. This is tricky.
Speak up, boy. We're not going to judge you.
It's real bad. A lot of the Marines aren't looking too good, and there seems to be a bit of something nasty going around the passengers too. None of us sailors have got anything, but a lot of the Marines have been looking a worse for wear. I don't know if they had too much to drink at the party last night, but it's a lot of them.
What are the symptoms?
The Marines are chucking up last night's dinner, and just seem too weak to really move much or do anything. Kind of like if they'd drunk too much, but it seems real bad. And then the citizens, well, and you see that though the stuff about the Marines sounds quite bad, this about the citizens is what seems to be really worrying him, and there's like a cold sweat across his brow. He looks down and is wringing his bandana even harder. It's like, I don't want to jinx anything, but I think it kind of leans in towards you both. I think it might be seeds pox.
Do we know what that is?
You would both be aware this is a disease that often breaks out when people are put in close quarters, and is characterized, and where it gets its name from. It's a disease that causes your tongue and the flesh in your mouth to swell and bloat horribly until your teeth like dig into the tongue and flesh of your mouth itself, and can cause choking and suffocation, and lead to death as everything swells up. And you know it can very much be fatal if left untreated, and it can be contagious as well.
Pushkin would be like, well, whoops, you should, there's a herbalist, Maven Telson, and herbalist Tick Yellow. Have you, we should inform them immediately and have the quarantine the others to their rooms so it cannot spread.
Beg your pardon, sir. There's no rooms on the citizen deck. It's all hammocks.
Quite a conundrum. What do you think, Burgomaster? It sounds awfully worrying.
Yes, well, you know, obviously keep them quarantined, and what will happen to them will happen, and then hopefully it won't spread to anybody else.
We should definitely get the herbalists, yes.
Nope, right you are. I'll go get them. Moves away. You can see a lot of people chatting amongst themselves, and a lot of people have come up to the top deck to be away from the lower decks. People are kind of gathering and clustering around. But before...
this guy said how many people he thinks are showing symptoms of it?
He specifically, if you had asked, he would say he's not sure because he didn't want to be anywhere near it. But when the two herbalists... Where are my herbalists?
One's Pushkin's and one's Salia's.
Thank you, that makes my job easier. Pushkin's people. No, it's the mother, Maven. Okay. And Salia. Herbalist. The goblin. Very good. They both come up to you, and yeah, again, they both look nervous. The goblin looks a lot more put together, and seems to be like leafing through things that she has in her bag and starting to think about what to prepare. Maven is distraught. She's in floods of tears as she comes to you, Pushkin, and she's just like, "You've got to help, please, sir, please."
Well, you can help me help you if you can tell me everything you know about this disease.
She kind of half ignores what you're saying and just says, "Oh, of course, but it's Saria. She's got it. I can't look at her." And it's your apprentice cook, Saria, who's one of the afflicted.
Pushkin sort of, he'd take her hand and he'd be like, there, mother.
Yeah, she's somewhat comforted, but still seems distraught.
He would try and be like, "You're one of the only two people on the ship, Maven, who can help your daughter. You're a herbalist. Think of anything you can to save her, and we can save everyone else, yeah." And you'd look at Tikyella. He's like, "Are there any races that are immune to this disease?"
The goblin speaks up, and her common is, unlike many of the other goblinoids that you've spoken to aboard the ship, her common's very good. Her Hespian common. And she says, not to my knowledge, although I suppose Chuck would be. I don't know if Three-Keen have tongues in much the same way, but anyone with a tongue is liable to suffer from Seeth's pox.
Pushkin looks at the Burgomaster. He's like, "We both have tongues."
The current wisdom, and this isn't something that afflicts my folk often, but my understanding, the current wisdom, there are some particular herbs. There's Cena's hand, crushed down, formed into a paste, and mixed with a strong, what's the word I'm looking for?
Salve?
Yeah, we'll go with that. A strong salve can heavily reduce the swelling. The individual simply needs to ride out the pox. It is fast acting, but fast burning as well. It will go after a few days.
What are these? What are they? I have a spice pouch.
The herb in question is called Cena's hand. It is not often used for cooking. I would be surprised if you had it. It's grows in the tree line between the deep forest and the the grasslands. I have some with me, but I fear it will not be enough for all. From my initial inspection, there are 5 who are suffering from this disease.
Pushkin would be like, right, I'll give out my room so that the diseased may go in there. Just not. Wait, what is Pushkin? Is Pushkin's room alright? Or is he in a hammock?
He's in a room, but there is only 1 bed. So if you put 5 people in there, they're going to be pretty, like, splayed out across bed and floor. But it's a thing. You could do that.
Yeah, he would be like, we should treat the children first. They're the future of the colony. We'd look at Maven.
Who has started to bring herself together a bit with your encouraging words and focus on Seria, would kind of sniff heavily and nod and just be like, I didn't think to bring Cena's hand, but maybe we could extend it a little bit if we... And she starts to, like, discuss with the goblin, and between their quick discussion, they come back to you and say they've probably got enough for 3 of the 5.
So you know who the 5 are.
Yeah, they would tell you. They've all been isolated now, so it's clear, even by process of elimination. Young Seria Telston, your apprentice cook. Tristane Sandborn, the painter. Salas's fated painter, the father of a small family.
Pushkin would be like, obviously him, Burgomaster. He can point the glory of this after he survives.
Anya does the smug nod, is the only way I can describe that facial expression. Aryan, one of the climbing specialists under Salia's purview.
How old she?
29. He.
Oh. That's a maybe. It's a maybe.
Locke Arrowhead, another one of Salia's. 23-year-old male ephemeral elf. An archer and Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
Part of a pair. Who I think are brother and sister, but I'd have to check. And then another one under your purview, Salis. Inkshine, the Kenku, the scribe. 37 years old. Yeah.
Would Pushkin know, by asking the herbalists, if you're more likely to survive from it by age?
They would tell you that, as with any disease, or most diseases, age and general health is a factor. The child is very likely to die if left untreated. Apart from that, just like being fit and healthy is your best hope.
Pushkin would then say to the Burgomaster, we should just treat the youngest, they're most likely to survive.
That would mean both of yours die, Burgomaster. Oh, potentially die, Burgomaster. It's all going to be rolls, nothing's predetermined, but yeah. Does the Salis argue?
Oh, yes, because, I mean, the people that I've chosen them for their specific strengths, and somebody needs to tell the grand tale of New Quivershank in the future and record it for generations to come. So, I would possibly argue not them.
I will say I've got another scribe as well.
It's more just looking at age. I think the 37-year-old, that's a no-go. He's old.
You do realise that's literally 5 what you
Amazing.
Kieran.
Yeah, that's what I realised as I said it. He would say, definitely treat the little girl, and then don't treat the oldest guy, and then he'd be like, Burgomaster, I'll allow you to make a call on the others. I have if Chuck is immune to this disease, then maybe I can enlist him as a nurse for the diseased. Or a delivery boy.
Are there any that seem sicker than others?
If you ask the herbalist that, they would say not particularly. Difficult to judge. I mean, I think Maven would say her daughter, but the goblin would, standing next to her, would kind of shake her head and be like, "No, they're all." It seems to have broken out amongst them. Similar time. And actually, at this point, because people are all gathered up on the deck, from the crowd, a voice kind of calls out. You're not sure whom, and just says, "We should smash all the mirrors on the ship. Then Seath can't get any of the rest of us."
Fishkin's like, calm down, man. It's not that bad yet.
And the crowd's kind of murmuring. Make either a performance or persuasion check.
The burgomaster would sort of lean over to him and be like, "Is there any kind of foundation for this opinion, sir?"
Who's he leaning over to? Oh, the herbalist. The goblin. The mum would look at you and be wide red eyes and just be like, "Maybe we should try everything." But the goblin again would just be like, "No. It's a superstition."
Fishkin's going to stand on... He's going to try and find a little box with his cane and he's going to stand on it. He's like, "Fellow sailors of the Quivershank Man, we have taken an executive decision that will benefit the ship. We have put the inflicted in quarantine. They shall be treated. There is no reason to panic. Go about your business. Good day."
Alright, go ahead and roll either performance or persuasion, but with advantage. Sorry, does the burgomaster add something?
Please leave the mirrors alone. There is no foundation for this opinion, and how else are we to see that our hats are at an appropriately jaunty angle? Do not smash the mirrors.
You may also make either a persuasion or performance check, burgomaster. Straight roll, please. It's literally Pushkin's box. Yeah, you both make your little proclamations, and the crowd kind of look at each other for a second as the tension hangs in the air, and the crowd just boils away, and it's just like, "We gotta get all the mirrors. There's gonna be one in this cabin, right?" And just start like moving around the ship, and you hear
I
this.
won't punish you. Punish you. Mirrors alone.
They're heading off. Does the burgomaster try and do anything, or is he just waving his fists and shouting?
He's just sort of like hurrying from one, like whatever it is I'm doing right now.
Frantic.
The mirrors, the mirrors.
Go ahead and roll a. Just roll an initiative check, burgomaster. I'm gonna roll one for the crowd.
Oh god, Salus is going to get trampled to death.
They rolled a natural one, so I will say with that you are able to save a mirror. No. Yeah. But otherwise, you hear the sound of smashing glass around the ship, and everybody can hear this as it's happening everywhere.
What did I tell you all?
Interesting. Okay, the herbalists go about their business. You said the three. Did you say three? Seria.
I think it was Saria and Salus's two people.
Okay, and Salus's two people, Tristane and Inkshine. Okay.
In the background, you would be hearing while you were going about this, Salus saying things like, "It's in your best interest to shock the people who've done it, otherwise it's punishment for the entire ship's passengers."
To what the people who've done it?
To shop in the people who have actually smashed the mirrors. There is no point closing ranks.
Yeah, make a persuasion check. Oh my god. Okay. We have a little look at the manifest. Would the Burgomaster have gone for his own people, or just whoever was nearby? Actually, with a natural 20, I'll say you pick out the right person for this, which would be...
I think he's mostly because Seria is very young, and then Tristan is the father of a family. So I think they're his two. So I don't know. I can't remember who the other people were now, other than the scribe.
There's the prospector you put in charge, like as a second in command, who would probably be the one to talk to, actually. And she would start pointing out people who specifically did the act of smashing the mirrors. I thought that's what you meant.
When you said that, I thought you meant as in the right people to give the cure to, not
Oh no! I thought you were saying Burgomaster was trying to convince someone to dob it. Yeah. So the dwarven woman, Erin, completely calls people out without hesitation. So you've got a good idea of who's done a lot of the mirror smashing. With this happening, though, we come to a bit of an interesting thing because with the crew riled up and this big sort of surge of people, they're going to try and break into both Salia's and Portia, Eleanor's rooms.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to Salia first. You hear like a heavy knocking on the door and people shouting like, we got to check for mirrors. There's seas pox on the ship.
Would Salia know that it's a superstition?
Yeah. You can decide whether Salia is a superstitious person or not. It's a common enough disease that you'd be aware of it amongst the Sari.
Would most of the Sari think it's true?
Yes, the Sari do not venerate the transcended mortals of Hespia. They think it's idiotic.
Okay.
They'd be like, there's this really nasty disease, it's horrible, especially for us who like to live in close family communities, but those Hespians are idiots about it.
Fair enough. She's like groggy, she wakes up. What are you guys talking about?
We've got to destroy the mirrors, it's the only way to stop the pox. Open the door or we'll break it down!
She just like sits on the end of the bed for a minute. She's like, give me a second.
We're coming in!
Slowly stands up, and what I want to do is I want to pick up the mirror. I assume she's got a mirror in her room.
Yeah. Common thing, yep.
And I just want to, as they open the door, I want to open the door at the same time. Just hand in the mirror.
Oh. Yeah, you open the door and you see they're all like, one of them's bunched up and ready to charge the door down, and the rest of them are just there like, ooh, ready to fight, and you just calmly hand them the mirror. And they like, oh, thanks. And then just immediately smash it on the ground and like hand you back this like broken frame of the mirror.
She just like drops it on the floor and looks out the door frame. What? How long have I haven't been gone that long.
It's coming up to noon, miss.
Noon. Just kind of rubs her head. Alright, well, I'm coming. Obviously something's gone awry.
Yeah, they just kind of watch you go by. And then as soon as you're out of earshot, they just like, alright, let's go and on to the next one.
Yeah.
They go down the hall to your room, Portia, hammering on the door. We've got to break all the mirrors, the seeds pox on the ship.
Portia, oh god, or Eleanor rather, would... Fuck, I don't know how to react to this nonsense. Open
the door, we'll break it down!
Would she know this is a common superstition?
Yeah.
I think she would just call out saying, I've already smashed them. Go away.
Ooh. Oh. Make a deception check.
Oh, halfling.
Halfling! Okay. Crowd isn't that smart. Get a little... I'll un-GM it. I'm just gonna... Oh! Even with that great roll, it's like... It's not that they figured anything out. Just someone shouts out, "She's lying! Show us the mirror!" Just hammering on the door.
She would... Is there a mirror in her room?
Yeah, I think all the cabins would have a face
She would
size
just
mirror,
take,
nothing huge.
She'd take the blood horn and just smash the mirror quite audibly and just go, "There, good enough for you."
Ooh. It did sound like a mirror smashing. You know, what if it was just a window? We want to pass us a piece of the mirror.
She'll try and slide it under the door.
Yeah, you can slide it under the door, fine. Okay. No, I'm not going to make you check that. It's easy enough to do. Yep, you take the pieces of mirror. You find one that hasn't fallen into blood. Slide it under the door. And they're just like, "All right, thank you, miss, for your cooperation. Trying to save people's lives." And the herd moves off.
She just does not reply.
Yep. Okay.
These guys.
Does anybody do anything about the Marines? Or is the focus entirely on the seedspox sufferers?
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
Perhaps Pushkin did too?
Don't know. He doesn't think it's food poisoning because everyone ate the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a captain of the guard?
Yeah, Toria Mooncloud.
Would she be suffering?
He is not suffering and is the only one who is not suffering.
Pushkin would put a handkerchief over his mouth as he goes up to talk to her.
Yep.
Like, very rudely, and be like, "What do you think happened to a man?"
Yeah, she's down there, but she's taken a sensible distance from where the Marines are groaning and moaning in their hammocks, and is just stood leaning back against the back of the ship, arms crossed and staring quite intently out at her Marines, and says, "I don't like it. I've seen these idiots drunk and hungover before. This seems like too much."
Looks around. Are they all accounted for? Are they all suffering?
Every single one. I haven't seen Dern this morning.
Do you think he might be suffering from the same thing, or been overtaken by it? Is he a weakling?
We'd probably hear it by now. All accounts, he slunk off upstairs to must have been one of your cabins.
I can assure you it was not my cabin.
He holds up one hand. It's just like, whatever goes on, it's none of my business. My men know when they're on duty and when they're off duty. We're stuck on the same ship. But no, it is unlike him not to turn up for roll call.
Well, no, Matt. I only worry because he might have succumbed like the rest of these fools. Or maybe it gets worse.
Maybe. Do we have any healers on the ship? Anyone who could help?
I'll summon the herbalist. They are currently busy with inflicted, but you need them just as much. I'll get. He'd probably get the goblin for this lot. Maven's probably.
Yeah, you're not going to drag Maven away from this area.
Yeah, exactly.
People. Yep. The goblin comes down. I'll roll a quick check. but she's pretty damn good at her job. Yeah. She tells you that the synchronized nature of the symptoms and the symptoms themselves, all problems seem to be located within the digestive system. She's pretty convinced that these people have been poisoned.
Poisoned?
I think so.
That's rather... He, gives a cowardly.
Well, it's not my business to discuss the ethics of this, but the fact that they all drank heavily, one has to wonder if they shared a particular concoction and if someone had access to it. But I've got plenty of charcoal and some bits and pieces of my own concoction. I'll have them better before too long. Maybe a day or two.
Your Marines drink from a special batch of ale?
Coria, who's looking very concerned at this idea of poisoning and quite angry, says, "Yes, we have a bit of a tradition, a bonding exercise. I didn't think anything more of it, where we put a couple of different drinks into a large half barrel and we all drink from it. I don't partake. I stay away from alcohol, but sounds like that might be what happened. If there are people poisoning my Marines on this ship, then we need to tell the Lord immediately and lock the whole place down."
I would suggest a shakedown of the rooms.
The rooms?
I mean, everyone.
She nods.
There's
yes.
only so much ship, and there's only so many places a vial of poison can hide. Is there any of this barrel left?
She kind of looks around. Yes. She pulls it over, and you see a barrel, and you can hear like a little bit of sloshing down in the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, this is all that's left. I'll make sure no one touches it.
Why don't we just throw it off?
Yeah. If we don't need it for anything, absolutely.
You look at the herbalist.
The herbalist kind of shrugs her shoulders. I suppose perhaps if this vial could be retrieved, having both liquids, I might be able to come up with some way of showing that one ended up in the other, but it depends how reliant your our justice system is on evidence, I suppose. In the forest, we would handle things differently.
Fishkin would be like, I know I do not speak with a lord's authority, but you should take a sample of that barrel, and your Marines should not drink until they have drink anything but water until they have recovered, and then a full shakedown of the ship when they recovered to retreat to try and unfurl some evidence.
Coria's nodding along, but as you finish, she looks at you quite hard in the eye and says, "And you'll make the Lord aware?"
He must know it is a grave danger to the colony.
I agree. All right, I'll get things rolling down here. We both will.
Bushkin would take off his hat and be like, "Charm."
Victoria would. She actually looks a bit caught in two minds. As you do this, she kind of grits her teeth slightly, but does a little bow of her own. Is like, "Yes, I am pleased by your your clear-headed thinking in this manner.
Toodaloo! And he would go off to see the Lord.
Yeah, she'd sigh slightly as you say toodaloo. Okay. Is anybody else wanting to do anything? Otherwise, we'll follow Pushkin along to meeting with the Lord.
Just that Salia makes her way up to the top deck, looking around to see, probably stepping over a lot of broken glass on the floor.
Yep. You would notice that the broken glass gets tossed over the side quite quickly, but it would look weird. It'd be people like sweeping up and throwing lots of broken glass over the side of the ship.
Yeah. And who's up on the top still? Anyone?
The vast majority of the ship itself is up on the main deck at the moment. It's quite a sight. It's like crowds of people. Different people calling out, just being like, "You missed a bit!" Oh, and then like a kid picking out a little bit of glass from between the floorboards and pinging it over the side of the ship.
Is the Burgomaster still clutching onto a mirror?
Yeah.
Up here.
Is he hiding it, or is he? He's not. Oh, okay then. Salia, you'd have quite a different scene if that's the case.
He's just like fending people off.
Yeah, the Burgomaster would be surrounded by lots of the crew and citizens who are just calling out, just like, "Hand it over! The curse is still here if you keep the mirror!"
It's just a shard.
Wait.
You've already broken the mirror. I need to see myself.
Salia just walks up behind the crowd and just like puts her hand on her head, like face palm sort of style. And she's, I'm gone one morning, and you've already wrecked the giant Burgomaster. She's sort of yelling over the crowd.
Wrecked the joint I made the jokes.
Yeah, the crowd are like hedging in Burgomaster, and you see one particular like scrappy young human breaks out of the crowd and makes a run for you, like lunging for the mirror.
No.
What do you do?
Salia's just watching, literally not doing anything.
That's what I do.
What? She's done something.
Uh-oh.
It's just retreat, yeah.
With a wave of your hand, you cast this on yourself, and the Burgomaster just starts sprinting up to the front of the ship, I assume.
He's also quite a fat man, so it's going to be quite the sight.
Okay, I'm gonna. Things are taking a bit of a turn. Can you tell me? Can you look at Expeditious Retreat on your sheet and tell me what the components are? Is it V, S, and M? Is it
It's
Yes.
VS? Oh my god. So, to them, you're the only one holding this cursed mirror, and you just like put your hands up, waved a magic in the air, and just went and said some magic words. So I'm gonna roll a saving throw for people here, but it's quite a high DC.
He's the devil.
That's nowhere near enough. Yep, one calls out just like, "He's seethe cursed, get him!" And they all start chasing after you, Burgomaster. With your Expeditious Retreat, you're able to keep a bit of a distance, but you're in a confined space here. You're on a ship, and it won't be long until you run out of ground to run to. You notice some of the people have like picked up bottles or bits of rope or whatever's nearby, and are chasing you now, a proper unruly mob coming after you. Well, what do you do? Anya's dying.
You It's the mental image of the Burgomaster. Tiny chihuahua, like, trotting behind him, like... and this very, like, large, portly man with his little chicken legs just, like, running along and just like... Look, that shit!
I think they'd look at Brutus as well and be like, "He's got a dog familiar! Get that as well!" Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm crying. Oh, I did not expect this after Portia stuff. Yep, you're running out of shit. What are you doing? It's a mob. They're surrounding you. They spread out as you get towards the front of the ship itself.
I didn't think this through.
The monster runs out of space at the front of the ship and the crowd surrounds him. Some people are throwing bits of their breakfast, throwing at you, Burger Master. A half-eaten tomato just slaps onto your...
I'm actually crying. Oh god.
God, I need to pick someone out of this crowd to be the ringleader.
Fine! Fine! And then he just like chuck the mirror on the ground.
Smashing it?
Well, let me guess, it probably fucking bounces. No, yeah. And then
I wasn't going to say anything, but now that you've said that, I have to roll for it. In fact, you roll for it. Only on a natural one does it bounce off the floor. It's a mirror, it's going to smash. Yeah, it's a straight D20. On a 1, it bounces off the floor. Thank you. There we go. It smashes on the ground and the crowd audibly gasps. I don't think they're quelled yet, though. Some of them have been kind of mollified by this, and there's a sigh of relief, but others kind of still stalking forward, just like, "Oh, you only did that because we forced you to. You and your little devil dog are not welcome on this ship."
Exactly, I only did it because you forced me to, because I want to see myself in the mirror, sir. This is all pure superstition.
That's exactly what a Seath Curse person would say.
Oh dear God.
And they're closing in on you. I'd say that from the crowd, these people aren't all complete idiots. There's maybe like 5 or 6 who have come forward, and some of them have rope, and it looks like they're going to try and like tie you up.
Oh yeah, they're not all idiots. I have neither the time nor the parchment to explain this to you. Get off me! Wait, no, he's turned into the get your hands off me, get your hands off me. Ah, yes, I see you know your judo well.
Your dwarven second in command calls out and it's just like, "This is ridiculous, let him go." And some of the crowd are starting to turn a little bit, but the 6 that have advanced on you are within melee range now, and they are going to try and grapple you and tie you up.
You're accusing me over a delicious reflection in the mirror?
And what is the charge? Wearing a hat? A Satan's Chinese hat?
Good. Burgomaster, are you resisting?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, so it's 6 against 1. Just roll a athletics check for me, please. Oh, God. How did you do? So you resist, but your wimpy attempts at pushing them away fail magnificently. And the 6 of...
Is democracy manifest?
Please stop! Oh, God. And they tie you up. They fucking tie you up. And one of them picks up Brutus. Or attempts to. Do you think Brutus would run away or bite them or anything?
Get your hands off me! Get your hands off my Brutus!
Do you think Brutus would bite them or run away?
He's probably trying to, but he's got a big small dog syndrome.
Yeah? Roll a...
Have
roll
you ever
attack,
tried to
straight
grab a little chihuahua? They can be real fucking like...
Yeah, oh, yeah.
arseholes.
Roll it a d20 for Brutus.
They could do some serious fucking damage.
Oh, yeah, they can.
I know, Postman, he got attacked by a dog and he had to have his leg amputated.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I got quite badly bit recently at my old job by a
Oh,
Frenchie
shit.
that was really nasty.
Damn.
Kieran, why do I feel like your life is just so fascinating?
Yeah, that was one of Max's stats.
Aura of stuff.
What the fuck?
Brutus puts up a fight. He does a lot more biting than running, though. And despite the badly bitten hands, these six so swept up in their zealotry do manage to pick him up and kind of clamp him and wrap him, kind of swaddle him like a baby, little Brutus burrito.
In the
Very good. And the Burgomaster is tied up. The crowd at this point is kind of half dispersing. A lot of people are standing around, not really sure what to do.
Salia's at the back, just watching in amusement.
With the kind of ringleader of the group of six, who I do have someone in mind for this. Where have they gone? It's a human guy.
suddenly had a vision of him there. I was like, what would he try and do to win people over? And then in my head he started singing, and I was like, what would he sing? At first I was afraid. I was terrified, thinking I would never be able to see my reflection inside.
It would be Sorgreave Telston, clearly distraught with his daughter's illness, who's leading the group. And just says, the cobbler, and just says, move out of the way. We need to string him up on the mast. And they start moving and pulling you with them. One of them has Brutus. Salia, to be clear, you're not intervening at all?
Nope. Just watching with a grin.
Pushkin, are you nearby?
He's gone to see the Lord.
Oh, yeah, true.
Would he see it, though?
Yeah, the timings are a bit funky.
Salia would mutter to herself. She's like, usually it's me, the one that's called the devil.
Yeah, you're lucky they didn't come after you.
Yeah.
I was rolling 50-50, and you do see this going down.
He would do a big knock on the Lord's door.
There, you knock heavily. Elsie opens it with a tension in her, but as she sees you, she kind of relaxes a little and says, Pushkin?
Elsie, it's most excellent to see you. Yes. There's a small problem with the Burgomaster. He appears to be being lashed to the mast. Yes.
There's a little smile that creases Elsie's face as you say that. But she says, I'll bring the Lord immediately. And she turns and moves into the Lord's chambers. And you just hear her, he's what to the mast? And the Lord appears in the doorway, clearly halfway between changing his clothes. Half in one outfit and half in the other.
My most beneficent lord.
What's all this about the Burgomaster, Pushkin? I hope nothing untoward has happened.
Well, my lord, there was a little problem with, what was that disease?
Thieves' pox.
Thieves' pox. I have quarantined the afflicted, sent the herbalist on the way.
Oh, that's awful. Have we, we've destroyed all the mirrors, of course.
Well, that happens to be the problem with the Burgomaster, my lord. He refused to give up the mirror, you know, his famous vanity.
Oh, of course. I mean, who could blame him? Elsie, see to my own mirrors. It's a
shard of mirror, actually. it was technically already broken, and therefore this whole thing is really fucking stupid.
Your reflex.
And Elsie kind of moves off, and you hear the sound of breaking glass in the background. And Lord Quivershank's like, oh, poor Burgomaster, I completely understand, but it's the thing to do with Seeth's pox, you know? It's how Seeth gets you, through the mirrors. We'll sort this out. I'll come immediately, Pushkin.
Oh my lord, this is such a trifling matter. It should not interrupt your day. Yes.
Elsie said he was being mashed to the mast.
I lashed to the mast, my lord.
Oh, right. Right,
They went-
okay.
Well, you
What
may
do you
want
plan
to.
do with him?
I'm not sure. She's like, what the commons do is their own thing.
But isn't this what the Marines are for? Couldn't we have them separate the crowd, disperse the common?
Well, my lord, the Marines are also suffering an affliction. It appears some ne'er-do-well had tried to poison their ale.
Oh.
They're all suffering. I have set up an investigation, an ongoing investigation until they recover.
Very good, Pushkin. It was all going so well. I don't really...
My lord, it is not your fault. These things happen with a big boat with lots of people on. How can you keep everyone in line on such a small ship?
Right. Yes, I suppose so. On spec, it's still going mostly well, wouldn't you say?
Are we not at least halfway to the serrated isles, my lord?
Well, indeed. And, we had a lovely time last night.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, all right, Pushkin. You persuaded me. I'll, do you need Elsie?
It may be pertinent that she is around, my lord.
Of course. I'll make sure she's aware. I'll go to my safe room. She won't leave me unless I'm in there. She is a bit of a warrior. Elsie, could you attend to Pushkin? Yes, I'll go in the safe room. Yes, I'll do some some painting, I think, today.
Yeah.
And he heads off. And Elsie appears in the doorway, clearly having listened to your conversation, and you can see like all her weapons are primed and ready. And she's like, "Right, let's deal with this, shall we?" And begin striding towards.
Elsie, there's something I was meaning to ask.
Yes.
I know you're a woman of great skill, and I know your job is to defend our beneficent lord.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that you may have investigative skills that may benefit the Marines. I know it's out of your job description, but it would be most helpful.
There's a poisoner on the ship. They need to be dealt with. They could try for higher blood.
I did suggest the Marines do a shakedown after, but maybe more intimidating on your own.
Yes, I'll deal with it, Pushkin. Don't worry. But first, let's make sure the Burgomaster doesn't come to any ill health. The Lord is very fond of him, despite their little tiff this morning.
Oh, tiff? A tiff, you say?
Yes, the Lord's been sulking about it ever since. He doesn't like the idea of not being in the Burgomaster's good books. He's a bit of a sensitive soul.
I'm sure the Burgomaster is happy with him. Who couldn't be?
Right. You say there's a crowd has done this? How many?
5 or 6? It's hard to say.
I see.
I'm going to return to the kitchen. I need to lock down my supplies in case this poisoner comes after me. And he like narrows his eyes.
As he suddenly realised this. Yep,
Yeah.
that's fine. She just kind of nods her head and moves towards the middle of the ship. She strides out, moving towards where you are, Burgomaster, which is currently lashed to the main mast, and many of the crowd are just kind of pointing and levelling accusations at you, and are just like, "You're why I lost my drinking contest," and another one's like, "You're why my wife wouldn't touch me," and bits and pieces. One of the kids jumps out and is like, "You're why I didn't get my favourite toy."
Please tell me Brutus is in there with him. Like to Mr. Snufflax.
No, Brutus hasn't been tied to the mast. Brutus has been walked over to the side of the ship. And yeah, and as this is happening, I've kind of been keeping track of it. He like holds Brutus over the side of the ship in your view, Burgomaster, and it's like, confess, confess.
My baby, put him down.
Oh, be careful with your words. Confess your crimes.
I'm surprised they weren't like, he's birthed a dog, a devil child.
If I'd thought of that, it would have happened.
It's a dog butt baby. There's nothing to confess. I'm just a vain man. I'm not working with a lot here. I've got to make the best of what I've got.
The guy turns around, still holding Brutus, and like almost angrily shakes Brutus towards you, and it's just, like, "You're lying! You're lying! You're..." And his shouting just gets cut short, and there's a dagger sticking out the side of his head.
What the fuck? That's not gonna help.
And the guy just flops to the ground, and the crowd goes silent. Elsie walks forward without any break in her step, reaches down calmly, pulls the dagger out of the side of the guy's head, flicks the blood over the side of the ship, takes a small strip of cloth, wipes it, and puts it back in a sheath, and just looks around and says, "The Burgomaster is under Lord Quivershank's protection, and therefore my protection. He will not be touched again. Cut him down." And the people on the ship just immediately take you down, Burgomaster. They're all staring at the body on the ground that's now bleeding onto the ship.
God, that little girl better not die.
Oh, thank you. That was very traumatic. If I were capable of such things, would I not just magic myself out of the ropes and somewhere else?
You sort of say these things, Burgomaster, but the crowd is just like locked on Elsie, and there's a look of complete fear as many people realize like there's no other home to go to. Her word here, unless they can challenge her, is law.
Yeah, the Burgomaster is like trying to be like, oh shit, she's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, the crowds begin to disperse and move off.
How big was the crowd, by the way? How many people, roughly?
So it was 6 that were actually taking the Burgomaster, and the rest of the crowd, which is the majority of. So there's 100 people. Well, now 90. Well, actually 98 people on the ship. Oh no, because we had the anyway. It would be 5, and then the Marines is 10, 15. So it'd be like 80-ish people. There's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who was holding the dog?
Holding the dog wasn't the ringleader.
Oh, thank fuck. That's all right then.
Yeah, it's not the cobbler. It would have been, and I need to find them because I need to cross them off the passenger manifest. He wasn't the one that took Brutus. Not the cobbler. Yeah. He was the ringleader that pointed you out and seemed to be leading
literally
them.
said that he was holding Brutus up and saying something about him being a devil dog, and then he got cut short because Elsie stabbed him in the side of the head.
Yeah, one of the 6 was. It wasn't the cobbler.
Oh, okay. I'm getting confused because
That's all right. It's all theatre of their mind. It would have been. So yeah, Saulgreave is alive. It would have been wouldn't have been one of the goblinoids. Probably one of the elves. Fully integrated. It would have been. I'm gonna have someone roll for it, actually. Can someone roll a d6 for me?
4.
4. Yeah, it would have been one of the sailors. I'm gonna say it was Langer Hooksmith. Human. Oh no, wait. It would have to be Snooze. Oh, I liked Snooze. Snooze was a cool name. What a young human man, impressionable. Dead. And you see some of the other sailors look shocked and are covering their mouths and look distraught that he's been killed. Snooze. Crossed out. So, with the seriousness suddenly settling over proceedings, Elsie says, well, she's made her declaration clear to everyone, and so she then begins going about her investigating. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do? Pushkin, you wanted to check your food supplies?
He's making sure they're just locked, sealed. He'd want to put stuff on them so he can tell if they've been tampered with, if they're not him, that kind of stuff.
Yep, very good. And it doesn't take you too long to realise that it looks like all the foodstuffs are exactly as they should be.
Okay. We just get on making dinner then.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
Unaware of what's going on.
the day is pushed past early afternoon now. It is moving towards dinner-ish time. Is there anything anyone else would be doing?
So you said that there was a crowd of 80 and only 6 were involving themselves with the Burgomaster.
Yeah.
What was the reaction of the other 80?
The other, it seemed anyone, and you were there, Salia, so you would have felt this. There was a real, indecision. It felt like a lot of the crowd was kind of agreeing with what these people were doing, but just weren't prepared to do it themselves.
Right.
And then again, there were other people who didn't agree, but again, weren't brave enough to, step in. There was a lot of just, watching and waiting to see what happened. And then, obviously, Elsie took matters into her own hands.
Okay. So no one's seen Portia all day.
Correct. No one's seen Portia at all.
Okay. I don't think Salia would do anything about that. But yeah.
Well, I think the only person who would be doing anything about that would either be Pelsi, who's already been sort of turned away, or Crolian, who's in the brig.
Shit. I guess in the evening.
And actually, sorry, that is a something that would have happened as well. Elsie would have made sure the 5 other troublemakers are in the brig, so there is something for the Telstons to be unhappy about. And the brig's starting to fill up.
Yeah. Loads of them in there.
Right, so I'm going to make a note. Who's in the brig?
I think.
But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Sally.
Sorry, yeah. I think in the evening, somewhat discreetly, among her own little group of people that she likes and that seem to like her, would sow the seeds of dissatisfaction with the upper classes.
Ooh, okay. So she's doing this with her people.
Mhm.
So I
Away
just need to
from,
write that.
particularly away from Tabaxi, who doesn't enjoy anything.
Very good. Let me just check your chosen people and see, because Salia would immediately note who was seemingly on board. Let's see. Oh, Salia, now that she's involved as well, would be aware that Aryan is one of the people who's very sick, as well as Locke Arrowhead, the Fletcher.
She
So
would definitely, oh yeah, good reminder, she would definitely talk to Tick Yellow, who's her herbalist,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, yeah, like save our people, our group is what matters. Save our group first.
Amazing. Tick Yellow, because you have Tick Zack as well, don't you?
So yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Tick Yellow's like the way you've handled things. Okay. She'd tell you that yes, she will. She'd warn you that the Pushkin and the Burgomaster had laid out who they wanted saved. And also ask you whether you, because that there's 2. She's got 3 doses. And 2 of them are your people. Who do you want the last one to be? Do you still want it to be the kid?
Yeah, the kid. Let's go for the kid.
Okay.
And she would say about the decision, she would just be like, give them a placebo. Placebo didn't work. Or say you were able to make an extra 2. You know, you're clever, Tick Yellow.
Let me just check something. The intrigue. There's Tick Yellow. I'm just checking her stuff. Oh, not okay. Yep. She kind of nods her head, and her eyes kind of sparkle when you say that she's clever. And she says she'll figure it out. Very good. From amongst the rest of your people, a lot of them are quite young. Krez, 100% on your side. Gifter seems to just go along with whatever you say, although you're not sure they really understand what's going on. Tyler, the young scribe, is nervous but on board. Yep, both the ticks. R2 is very unhappy and worried about Aryan, and so is 100% on board and is kind of blaming the higher ups for not doing anything more.
Oh, fuck off. Did all I could. Pushkin did everything.
And the Sandborns. Roll a persuasion check for the Sandborns.
Okay.
The other ones would be easy wins, but the Sandborns not so much.
Yeah, it's more like a little light touch at first.
Yeah, for sure. 10's okay. They're certainly not openly objecting to what you're saying.
Cool.
Sowing the seeds. Very interesting. Cool.
Yeah. Should probably do like a little bit of describing of how the Sari do it, like everyone's equal sort of thing, and we could be too, sort of thing. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it goes over quite well. Particularly with the younger ones, they seem to have the real awestruck element whenever you mention that Sari elements. Very good. Okay. So as the day draws to a close...
Oh wait, we wanted to do something.
Yeah, please.
Portia, in her room at some point during the day, would she be looking at the body? Sorry, Eleanor. I need to get used to calling her actual name. And she would sort of look down at the body, and she's sort of been crying, like almost aggressively crying. And she would just start to like sort of like not get on top of the body, but sort of kneel next to it, and she's just like pounding her fists into him. and she's just saying, like, quite loudly to herself, like screaming, just like, why doesn't it feel any different? Just over and over. And she would just be like holding the sword and just sort of almost like addressing the sword itself, and just she would just be like destroying stuff in her room with the sword, just like destroying the room and just like shouting at the sword, saying it was supposed to feel different. Make it feel different, please.
You would definitely be overheard, but depending on who overhears you, they might interfere or not. At the same time, Pushkin, you would have, since we're getting towards the evening now, this was on a timer, you would have, I can't really describe it as a knock, you'd hear a wet slap against the door of the kitchen.
Yeah, he'd get up.
You'd open it and see Chuck there.
Hello, Chuck.
And you notice that Chuck has a slight imprint of the wood of the door on his forehead. And held in like two pseudopods that are gathered down and cupped almost like a bowl, is a crimson red. And he just looks up at you and says, "Blood."
Where did that come from, Chuck? Was it...
Hold.
Did something happen down there? You can tell me.
He like holds the pseudopod little bowl up in front of you, Pushkin, above your head, like his pseudopods extend above you, and he lets one little drip come out and fall to the ground, and just says, "Drip."
Pushkin would know everything that's happened today, right?
Pushkin would know what? Sorry.
Everything that's happened today.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd be like, thank you for telling me, Chuck. Will you accompany me to see Elsie?
Run. And he follows you.
Yeah. He'd be searching the deck for Elsie.
Elsie's not hard to find. She's moving around and making investigations. What do you say to her?
Elsie, there appears to be, from what Chuck has told me here, in the hold where he farms his mushrooms, there has been blood dripping down from above him.
She frowns, and you sort of see her doing some quick calculations or thinking in her head. And she says, "That's not from the troublemaker. Show me, Chuck." Chuck leads the both of you down into the hold, and you can see that the blood, which has dripped on some of the mushrooms and pooled around them, is right towards the back of the ship. She looks up and says, "This is below the armory." You make your way up. She's now clearly like a bloodhound on a scent, following...
Pushkin would have told Chuck to be like, look after the mushrooms, Chuck. You don't need to see this.
Room goes back and like carefully bringing the blood away from the shrooms in a gentle manner. Elsie swiftly strides up the stairs, Pushkin. It's a bit of an effort to keep up with her. She bursts into the armory, and you can see a large pool of blood on the ground, both of you, and there's a clear drip coming from above. And she looks up and says, "That's the quarterdeck cabins."
Do you need me to come up with you? Or have you got this? I don't particularly want to see a body.
Yeah. "I've got this." And she moves to head upstairs.
Pushkin would go say well done to Chuck. Be like, very vigilant, Chuck.
He would give you the big smile and like rub the front of his forehead a little bit, and then make his forehead look like the door imprint again, and just say, "Oh."
Maybe he'd like do a little knock with his hand and be like, maybe with the hand next time. But
He like reaches down and knocks on the bottom of the ship a little bit, and then smiles.
yeah.
Outside Eleanor's room, there's a few people who have gathered around because they can hear the commotion within, but none of them consider themselves of authority enough to disturb until Elsie arrives, seeing the people there, starts putting things together in her mind, and there's a sharp, punctuated knock, a rap on your door, Eleanor, not for the first time today. And you hear Elsie's voice just saying, "Portia, I need you to open the door."
She doesn't respond. She's just shouting, and like still shouting the same thing she was shouting before. Why doesn't it feel any different?
Okay.
And just smashing shit in the room.
You hear the sound of a lock being undone, and the door.
I don't think she'd even notice it, to be honest.
The door swings in, and there's a gasp of horror from the people gathered around outside. Elsie herself just takes in the scene, eyes scanning, putting together things, and seeing you brandishing this dark sword. She would... No, I don't think she would attack you immediately. She'd say in very clear tones to the people around her, "Leave." They move away, and she says to you, "You need to put down the sword and come with me now."
She's just still shouting. She's not even paying attention.
This is the second and final time I will say this. Place the sword on the floor and come with me.
She just sort of looks over at Elsie. It's just like tears are just streaming down her face, and then sort of more weakly, in her voice kind of like almost broken from all the shouting, she just looks her in the eyes as why doesn't it feel any different?
Elsie draws a similar sword to yours, only in shape. There's no dark metal, but a cutlass from behind her looks incredibly sharp, and begins to step into the room.
Mm-hmm.
If you won't drop the sword... Yeah, go on.
Portia, Eleanor would have fallen to her knees at this point, and it's just sort of like holding, you know that thing where you sort of on your knees and then you holding yourself up with your hands on the floor, but the sword's still in her hand. She would not willingly part with the sword.
Okay, if you're on your knees, Elsie would... Yeah, she's going to attempt to get rid of the sword from you. It's going to be a contested strength, athletics.
Okay.
Elsie doesn't have amazing, but like you, she's proficient. It's 3. Yeah, she uses the strength of her legs. She takes her foot, stamping on the blade, and grinds it across the wood, comes swiftly out of your grasp. You try to tense your fingers to hold on to it, but it's out of your grasp as it comes away. How does Eleanor react?
I don't think Eleanor does react. I think the curse takes effect.
Tell me what happens.
I think blood from deep within her body and energy within her soul begins to bubble like a cauldron on a stove, slowly rising in temperature. She looks up from the position of on the floor as the sword is parted from her,
Mm-hmm.
and she would grit her teeth, and the tears almost seemingly seeping into her skin, her face drying before her, and she is going to cast. Now, technically, this is on a creature, this spell, but I'm hoping you'll allow me because she's holding it. She's going to try and cast Lightning Lure on Elsie, but also on the sword, more on the sword itself, trying to pull the sword towards her. And she says in this deep, deep voice that's so deep that it's not her own, that she just says, "Give it back."
Yeah, strength check
Yeah, it's
from
a
Elsie.
strength saving throw.
Strength saving throw, thank you. And this will 100% be initiative. That's my Elsie token.
Got 300 health.
She's no fool, that's for sure.
Oh, I need to roll initiative.
Oh, everybody else is here. 40. Okay. Sweet bejesus. Right, let's get some battle music going. Okay. Strength save is not that great at strength saves. She fails. You're against your DC.
She takes 10 points of lightning damage as Eleanor's hand leans out and just like this black lightning shoots out of it and grabs the sword and pulls it 15 feet towards her.
Okay. The sword comes flying eagerly back into your hand, and as it reaches you, some of the blood kind of almost seeps out of your skin and into the hilt of the sword itself, and you feel the power surge within you. Yeah, you didn't take her by surprise. She was ready for combat, so she will take her turn. She is going to make 2 attacks. Her cutlass.
I've had a long rest, right?
Yeah, yes, you have.
Okay.
Because you took the poison, so you passed out. The first is a 19 to hit.
Hits.
And the second is a 25 to hit.
Both hit. I'll need to make wisdom saves on both of these because it matters.
Yep. You take a total of 18 damage.
Okay. Let me make the wisdom saves first. The 12, I believe, fails.
Okay.
So the first hit, she'd almost like regain her senses for a second as she has the sword back in her hand, and she's like, "Wait!" and then the slice comes in, and she just like feels her own blood like come across her chest, and she sort of looks down at it, and then the second strike goes across her arm, I imagine, as she almost instinctually puts her arm up, and then again the face kind of drops, almost a painted veil, like a dark funeral veil, just comes over her face as the curse takes full control, and she has to kill what is in front of her.
You need vengeance.
And as a result, she will reaction, and she's going to cast Hellish Rebuke.
Alright. Dex save. This 14.
My
just
DC is
passes.
a 14, so
Okay.
half damage, I think.
Yeah, you can see the fire plays out across her, and she does look burned from that, even though she managed to swivel to the side to dodge some of it. It is now your turn, Portia.
I can't change my health, by the way, because of the new
Because of the
thing.
stupid thing!
Let me see if... Oh wait, I should be able to. Actually, don't worry. I can do it.
Okay.
You have to do it on the sheet now. It's really annoying. Sorry, I should have 14 now. There we go. She will cast... Choose a bonus action to cast. Yeah, Wrathful Smite. Yeah, it has to make a Wisdom save. My attack's still 1d6 psychic damage no matter what, but it does have to make a Wisdom. She does have to make a Wisdom save, or be frightened of me until the spell ends. I'm concentrating for 1 minute.
Cool. So let's see if you hit first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's next time I hit you, right? Just checking if there's anything else. Sorry.
That's alright.
Still feel like I'm learning how to play Paladin.
Oh, good.
Oh, actually, would I do that? I forgot I've got Hexblade's Curse now. Yeah, I think she would have bonus action Hexblade's Curse, actually.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, so it gets +3 to damage rolls. Scores on a crit of 19 or 20 and regain 5 HP if she dies.
Ooh.
Is this an... Oh, I don't know, actually. Fuck. There's a lot of bonus action stuff I've got. So I'm just figuring out. No, I think she'd do this first. Okay, so sorry. So I know I'm going like retconning. She's gonna channel divinity and vow of enmity. So she gets advantage on all attack rolls until next. I think that makes the most sense to do first.
Very powerful, yeah.
So she's not doing. So she will get advantage on this attack roll. She gets 1 attack because she's not a level 5 paladin yet.
Yep.
Boom with the bloodhorn. For a 19 to hit.
And a 19 hits.
She will divine smite. At 2nd level, which... Oh, no, it's 2nd level, 1st level still. It's because I got fear from the thing. So an extra 2d8 on this. So 8 points of slashing damage, that's a low roll. But then I got the 2d8. Unless she's undead or something.
No, she's not.
4 damage, so 12 points of damage.
She will uncanny dodge.
Interesting.
Bring it down to 6. Yep, as your blade lands and slashes across her, half the time it's hitting cloth and flesh, but the other half, just all these different hidden blades clashing off of them. And she kind of rolls with the strike to deflect some of the blow. Back to her. You're not directly threatening the Lord right now. No, she'd press the attack. She's going to make 2 further attacks at you. She rolled well on the first, bad on the second, so a 20 to hit on the first.
Hits.
For 6 damage.
Oh, this is so annoying with the character sheet. So,
Yeah.
so down to
I can just do it for you.
No, I can do it. It's easy to do. It's just I'm just not used to it.
Yeah.
How come you can't change the health? I can do it on Pushkin.
I can't do it for some reason. Maybe it's a token or something. She. Is it her turn?
Yeah, she just made.
She will Hellish Rebuke again, by the way.
Oh, damn. Yeah, go ahead. Bursting forth from the blade.
Dex
Dark
save.
fire. Oh, yeah, deck save. +7. She does make it. Takes half.
4.
4. Yeah, with that, she will bonus action disengage. And she just begins up.
Oh wait, it's her turn. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, she will bonus action disengage, and
She
just
will take if. Oh no, because I
Ooh.
already used my reaction. Fuck.
She takes like a fighting retreat back out of the room, and begins to head towards the doorway to the main deck, and it's just calling out, "Marines, we have a traitor, an assailant. To me." In the clash of battle, she seems to have forgotten about the Marines' current state.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you, Portia.
She's gonna bonus action Hexblade's Curse.
Mm-hmm.
+3 to damage rolls. And
Yep.
crits on a 19 and 20. She's gonna run after her.
Yep.
If she can keep up with her. Dan should attack again.
Go ahead.
With advantage. An 18.
18 just hits.
Shield 12 plus your Divine Smite again. And it was plus another 3 to that as well, sorry.
15
So 15
plus Divine
plus
Smite.
2d8. Another 8 points of
Oh
radiant
my
damage.
god. If she couldn't uncanny dodge, she would have gone down.
Oh yeah.
So 23, 11. Yeah, she's looking real bad. She is desperately fighting you off now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's smart. She knows that she needs to get out of this situation. So she disengages.
And Sentinel, I will make an attack of
Ooh.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is it.
21.
21 hits.
Another 3 damage to that, so 14 plus another Divine
my
Smite.
God.
So you attacked on your go. She does have her reaction back on her go, so this is going to matter.
13 plus 14 is 27 points of damage.
She begins to dodge and twist and move, but the blade hungers, and as it strikes, it twists and jagged movements. It just cuts through her side, breaking bone, slicing through organ and blood vessel, as a croak of horror is emitted from Elsie's throat as she is cut down in front of you.
She regains 5
Holy
HP
shit.
as well.
Hell yeah.
Damn. Okay. I will drop us out of the music for now. The sword, the soul of Elsie is pulled. Some essence is pulled into the sword. For now, with the revitalizing aspect of the sword striking Elsie down, you can give Eleanor the benefits of a long rest.
Shit.
Oh my god, this session did not go how I thought it would.
Me neither.
Elsie's voice did still ring out, and people on the other side of the door did hear what was going on. There are no Marines currently on the upper deck. Toria Mooncloud is below deck. People have heard though, and Eleanor, you can hear others outside calling and just being like, "Something's going on! Get the Marines!" And people are starting to gather. Anyone on the top deck would be aware of this as well. So Salia, you'd be aware of this. If you are still up there, I know you gathered a group. Perhaps you were below deck.
Yeah, probably like below, like
Mm-hmm.
in more private area.
She's in pure panic mode at this point.
Mm-hmm.
As she sort of comes back to the curse not being in effect after she kills her.
Yep.
And she's gonna run and try and find somewhere to hide.
Okay. You know the layout of the ship by now.
Mm-hmm.
There is an advantage to you, which is that there is a set of stairs here in the quarterdeck cabins, and Elsie told people to leave here, so it's currently abandoned, though not for long.
Yeah.
So you could head down there, which would bring you. Well, you tell me. Which way would Eleanor go? Really, those stairs down are the only way out of here that isn't out onto the main deck.
That's where she'd go then.
Hey,
I think up makes sense, down makes more sense.
it's crazy how this all links together with stuff that I've already said. As you go down those stairs, you immediately run into Toria Mooncloud, because that's where she's been standing and sorting stuff for her Marines.
Mooncloud. Oh shit, yeah.
The head of the Marines. You see her as you're coming down the stairs. I will say from the fight there is some blood flecked onto you, and from your kill from the night before. She looks up at you. Yeah, go ahead.
When she was running, was there anyone else in the corridor before she went down the stairs?
There was no one in this quarterdeck cabin area, but you did hear people from outside on the main deck beginning to gather and come towards the door.
She would have cast Disguise Self on herself with a masquerade tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And she would have made herself... She's about a similar height to Pelsi, right?
Yeah.
She makes herself look like the
Well,
girl.
no. Pelsi is a child halfling.
Oh, she's a child halfling, sorry. I thought she was a human child.
Pelsi's real small.
Let me have a quick look in...
Yeah, that's fine.
Portia's...
Gives me time to cross more people off the manifest.
Yeah, maybe Pelsi's mother.
Maven. Yeah, absolutely.
Or, I don't know, is there any other No, Arsep. Ethereal elf male child.
Oh, interesting. The adopted child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Absolutely.
It would be, it'd have to be a child she recognises, I think. No, actually, I think she would just make herself look like Pelsi, even though she looks smaller. She's still... Because you can still make yourself look...
It's smaller, yeah.
Disguise herself, but you would just, obviously, if someone... Yeah, you can see 1 foot shorter or taller.
Yep.
So I think she would just... Yeah, Pelsi makes the most sense in my head. It represents innocence. In her head, she's fully back in that childlike fear mode where you're just almost... You're just so scared of the unknown and the future, and you just... I think she just takes on this guise of Pelsi, is because it just represents just innocence and fear and just pure fear to her. Like, it's almost instinctual. She doesn't even think about casting it, she just does it.
Yeah. The shimmer comes over you and you know you are disguised. You head down the stairs. Toria sees you coming down the stairs and just says, Pelsi, you shouldn't be down here. The Marines are sick. You should be with perhaps be with your God.
I think she just tries to run past her.
Oh, okay.
Like, is there any other stairs that go...
Yeah, Toria wouldn't lunge at you. There's stairs that go further down.
Yeah, she wants to get to those stairs.
Yeah. You'd run past and Toria would be like, oh. You'd go down onto the citizens layer, where there are some people who are currently being quarantined. Make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Doesn't matter, I'm immune to disease.
Oh, paladin, baby.
Yeah.
Very good. You feel the kind of heaviness of the air in here. People, there's this horrible, like, choking, coughing sound that the people make. There's another set of stairs if you want to go down to the hold. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you're on the...
It's where she's going.
Yep, you go further down into the hold. You find yourself with no more stairs to descend down in the hold. You know down here is the brig, and also the domain of Chuck and his little mushroom farm.
Yeah, she... Fuck. The brig's down here.
Yep. And the brig currently holds...
Oh, I don't know. No, she's not.
Oh, holy shit! I've just realised the way this could next go.
No, I don't think she would go to the brig. I think she would try and find somewhere to hide within Chuck's hold. Is there somewhere she could hide, like a car? It's the car. Is this the cargo hold? I assume
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of crates and sacks and various things covered and tied down.
She just runs to whatever you think the first big crate that she looks like she could just open and just jump inside is and pull it back over her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You run over, you kind of give a quick knock to some of them. The one that sounds like it's got a bit of hollow space, you jump in, and you are immediately surrounded with multiple visages of Lord Ernst Quivershank, as it seems he's brought a collection of portraits with him. And you nestle down in spaces between Safari Ernst and High Society Ernst.
Yeah, she's just gonna try and hide in there.
Very good. Yeah, make a stealth check for me, please.
If I use inspiration,
Yep.
do I have to take the inspiration roll, or is it whichever's higher?
For the life of me, I cannot remember. For the sake of
You
this,
do have to take it, I think.
Oh, okay. There we go. You do have to take it.
Okay.
Will you risk
It's-
it?
Well, actually, I don't know, because it's meant to be advantage, but we always re-roll.
I'll just take it as advantage. Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
My decree is final.
One more.
One better. Okay. You pull yourself down, suddenly the sound of your own breath is deafening and your heartbeat in your ears. Everything that's happened in the last 24 hours is rushing through your mind, but you are tucked inside the instinct to hide. And you just feel, as all your other sensations fade away and you're left with your own breath and your heartbeat, there is another sensation. The warmth of the blade itself just seems to emanate from where it sits by your side. But for now, we go back up to the top deck. Jesus. People have burst in, found Elsie cut down on the floor.
So stressful.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All my notes I made, didn't anticipate this. D&D, baby. The call goes out immediately. This is a senior figure, and word gets back to the Lord, who comes straight to the main deck in an absolute mess. And as he sees Elsie, just falls to his knees and sobs at her, next to her body. Everyone else, you are fully aware of what's going on. The news would race through the ship. And people are looking scared and unsure of what's going to happen.
Salia would give a little knowing nod to the people she's just been talking to.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
it's about.
Yeah, almost like, you'd planned it. You'd just been saying about unreliability and so on, and
Yeah.
things are starting to fall apart. Yeah, they would absolutely close ranks around you. The ones who weren't sure now fully on side. You can consider your group as very much loyal to you right now.
But speaking of my group, I would have also, I did forget to say, but I would have also mentioned like the rest of their family in the other groups as well are also important.
Yep.
And definitely part of our group too, even though they're in the other groups.
Yeah. Well, they would say that because there's two Sandborns, both they're the dad, and
A lot of other family around.
yeah, they would both say about how they're terrified because they've got the pox. Two members of their family have got the pox, of the Sandborn family.
Mhm.
No, sorry, one member of the family going mad, but yeah. And be very keen to bring them back under your wing.
So one of the Sandborns could have been the third.
Yeah. If you wanted to talk to the goblin.
Yeah. I just didn't realise there was a Sandborn that had it as well.
Yeah, Tristane. Yeah, is that what the instructions you give to Tick Yellow?
Yes, if the Sandborns were looking worried about it, she'd be like, yeah, well, they're part of our group. You get them first.
Okay.
Yeah, even though it's
So
child
Aryan,
and so sad.
Locke, and Tristane are the ones getting the medicine, the real medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god. This campaign got so dark so quickly. Very good. Burgomaster, Pushkin, any immediate reactions?
Pushkin would be feeling absolute shit because he didn't go upstairs to help with whoever killed her.
Oh yeah, he said goodbye to her.
He would 100% say it was someone on the deck, the quarter deck. So one of our leaders has turned against us.
He'd say this to the Lord, or who's he saying this to?
Everyone.
They would know it was Eleanor's room, though, right?
Yeah, they would figure it out pretty quickly. Dern Bloodhorn's body is just there. People would be looking for leadership in this time. I think the Lord is just like sobbing hopelessly next to Elsie, and Elsie was kind of the strength behind the Lord anyway. It's clear how Salia is kind of consolidating her stuff. Is there anything anyone else would do? Otherwise, I'm going to start rolling some dice to see who people turn to.
If Pushkin knew that Marine was dead, he'd be like, "The Marines! Someone poisoned you? One of your friends has been found dead in the room of one of our leaders. Do you have any doubt who did this to you? She asked me for help, some milk to sleep at night.
Oh.
I gave it to her out of generosity, but I see it was put to illicit use."
There is a lie in there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Which one? Which one?
About
The fact that he gave it to her to
use,
sleep.
the use of the milk, yeah.
We didn't know it. He wouldn't say that then. He'd say, "I gave her milk."
Okay. That's fair.
Even that's a lie. That's an
he
omission.
gave-
It's an omission. Well, it's an omission of information, so it depends if you consider that deception or not.
If things weren't so frantic, I think I'd
Oh, I
probably
know.
make you roll.
Pushkin would say, "I made a deal with her to help stabilize the boat.
Mhm.
I didn't know what she was going to do with anything. Like, I was doing it for the good of the boat and the coherency of your family, so you could be together."
Which is deception as well. She told.
It's not
She did
because
tell.
they were off.
But she did tell Pushkin what she was doing.
And I
Did
think
she?
he believed her at the time
Yeah.
as well.
She lied about it.
Oh, she says she's trying to cheat her drinking competition.
Yeah,
then.
that's what she said. Yeah, that's what she
Yeah,
said.
that's what Pushkin would say. Then.
Okay. So he would, to his knowledge, he would tell people the truth that is what he's aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd try and be as truthful as possible, basically.
Yeah. You see that Toria, who's the main person you're talking to, because the rest of them aren't in any good state, though they are listening. Toria has rounded up almost like a secondary marine squad, has kind of conscripted the gunners of the sailing crew on board, and is working alongside Notch, who's the chief gunner. These people aren't gunners in the sense of they carry firearms. They're gunners in the sense of they're trained to fire the cannons. They're not trained soldiers. They're sailors, but who have proven themselves as working well in the synchronized needs of a gunning gunnery deck. She listens to this and she says, "Well, we have our culprit and our poisoner. We must find her." And she begins to issue orders to the gunners to just completely strip search the ship.
If she managed to kill Elsie, she must be dangerous. We should wait until our strength is consolidated.
Elsie was an impressive fighter. I had the honor of sparring with her. May she go peacefully into the dark side. Perhaps you're right, Pushkin. She kind of walks up closer to you, though, and says, "There isn't too much strength to consolidate here. My Marines are out of action. Who are you thinking of?"
That's what I meant.
Who's
That's
he
what
saying?
I meant. I meant wait for him to recover.
Oh!
Yeah.
We leave ourselves vulnerable. If we just leave her to her own plans.
What would her plans be? Why? Kinda just shrugs. Maybe Elsie was killed to get away with the first murder. Maybe she's got a bloodlust. I do not know the trifles of someone else.
We don't have an answer, but... No, I agree with you. But we need to lock the ship down. My immediate instincts were right. We need to have guards on doors. We need to be aware of movement around the ship, and no one goes anywhere alone. She addresses the gathered folk that she can get on board, and tells them that anyone who is unsure, the first port of call is not to challenge, but to yell for help. If this against a superior opponent, what we need to do is keep communication as open as possible. And that's how she commands the gunnery crew, and Notch sort of nods alongside her. Salia, are you doing something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that while they're having their little meeting with the gunners and marines, Salia's just going around whispering some more seeds.
Oh yeah, those
basically
seeds.
Everyone.
Those seeds take root pretty fast. Is she telling her people to do the same?
Yeah, just not like ordering, but just kind of like you should let people know, sort of thing. You know, this could turn bad. They're losing. I can't think of the word, but
losing control, losing what they're doing. And the survivors of the noble cause lend their voice, apart from Nortwin, who's a bit more dutiful, doing what he's told. But many of them begin to just say, essentially become doomsayers. We need to turn this boat around. This has all gone wrong. Burgomaster?
I don't want to turn it around, but we want to be in control. What is the Burgomaster doing?
The Burgomaster is not really doing a lot, as I'm sure you can probably guess. He's sad about Elsie. But he wants to find who's killed her and bring them to justice, but he's an idiot. He doesn't have the first clue as to where to start looking for who killed.
So he's not taking on any kind of... He's not trying to lead people or comfort people. It's very personal for him as he's sticking with Lord Ernst with Elsie's body.
Yeah, it would be a mixture of the two. It would be my lord, and then basically just like Princess Diana-ing up on the top deck, trying to
Okay.
win the people over, even though they just lashed into the mast.
Those people are all in the brig, and one of them's dead. Interesting. I think it's just gonna have to be charisma checks. If you have a particular skill you want to use, that's charisma at its base. Please do so. Pushkin, you've put in your lot with Toria and her makeshift people, right?
Well, not really. He just
Would he be trying to comfort people on the main deck as well?
He'd just be trying to like put some semblance of order around, trying to calm people down and being like, look, these guys, may not be the best guys, but they've got a plan, that kind of thing.
God, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, so I think the momentum of the situation is definitely with Salia. However, Pushkin had previously quite a lot of success with his group. There is some loyalty there. The Burgermaster's just he's just a celebrity of discovery that is swiftly becoming a figure of
Devotion.
I don't even know, but Anya's doing the Queen wave, and it's great. So, pick a charisma skill of your choice, or if you're not proficient in any of them, just do a straight charisma roll. I'm going to say Salia with advantage, Pushkin straight roll, and Burgermaster disadvantage.
Cool.
Okay.
13.
5. Yeah. So a clear hierarchy to this. Yeah, there's a lot of panic. Elsie, especially with such a bold move, killing the ring, or one of the people, not the ringleader, not the cobbler. Of course, created a fear, and with fear, there's resentment and fear of what she might do next. And her as the symbol of strength going down, Salia, you begin to hear more and more this kind of murmuring of,
Oh yeah.
they can't handle it. This is too big a job. There's more of us than them. They're not doing anything.
Even
Push.
prevent the poisoning of the Marines.
Yeah,
You know,
things
Us-
are coming apart at the seams. There was
Elsie openly killing crew like without regard or considering their opinions.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Pushkin, you do make some headway. You keep the loyalty of your close group, which is
Yeah, he's basically just being like, don't get carried away, just stay calm. He's not trying to like sow any, just
Yeah.
he's just trying to be like, calm down, everyone.
So there is still a bit of a group around Pushkin, and you have quite a close knit group of people there. But the majority is swaying towards you, Salia, and there's definitely an overriding feeling of discontent and demand for something to happen. And Pushkin and the Burgomaster, you're absolutely aware of this. You can feel the crowd sort of turning against the Lord and the Lord's retinue. Do you react at all?
What sort of turning against him?
There's no pitchforks or anything yet, but there's a feeling of outrage and palpable fear amongst the crowd, and you can see sort of ripples of murmuring going through, and you start to hear people just being like, maybe we should put them in the brig, and then we can be in charge, and maybe. And you'd hear like various names thrown together for who should be in charge and what have you.
Pushkin's gonna like get his little box out and put it down again. He's gonna be like, and like tap his cane. He's like, now, everyone, let's not get carried away. Yeah, the most important thing right now is getting to the serrated isles. Whatever animosity and fear that's been thrown here, we need to get to land. And we can't do that without working together. Pretty much it.
There's no role involved here. It does calm people a bit. They like the mention of working together, and they like the mention of getting to land. Is Salia doing anything in particular to counteract Pushkin's efforts, or is she?
Yeah.
Yep.
She'd be like, she wouldn't say it openly, but it's more like whispers again. Yeah, we can work together without higher ups telling us what to do, sort of thing.
Make a stealth check for me, please. Okay. Anybody's passive perception above 14?
I can hear her from the brig.
Oh, yeah.
No,
What's passive perception?
should say on. Oh, it's you haven't got a sheet.
10 plus your perception
10 plus
score.
your perception score, yeah.
Nah. Oh, yeah, I do have 14. But I guess that means I don't see it.
Yeah, I will say with a 14, you don't see it, Salia, but you do get a sense that these rumors are coming from somewhere or someone.
Pushkin could sense that. He'd be like, and when we get to land, I can make the grandest meal possible from everything we have in the hold for our momentous journey. And let's not forget.
It's like the higher ups, they eat better than us already.
Yeah,
Let alone.
that
But-
completely has the opposite of your intended effect.
But he doesn't. He feeds everyone on the ship the same. Except the Lord.
But being
Except
like,
the Lord,
we'll have a grand meal. Everyone's like, what?
He's just trying to help.
I know, bless him.
Oh.
It's you've definitely stopped like the momentum things carrying, but Sali, you feel like even though things aren't necessarily escalating right now, you've solidified the base. The majority of people now seem to feel the way that you wanted them to
Yes.
feel.
Discontent is there.
Oh yeah, the discontent is strongly there. At this point, Burgomaster, you see Lord Ernst kind of wipe his eyes and stand up, and he's just like, "Well, we've got to get on with things, I suppose. In her honor, will the first statue we build in New Quivershank will be of Elsie."
The Burgomaster surprisingly would keep his mouth shut and just try and comfort the Lord and like pat him on the back, etc.
Yeah, he'd kind of whimper a little bit and pat your hand. And then he'd step out onto the main deck, and the crowd kind of hushes as they see the Lord himself go to the balcony above the main deck at the highest point and just say, "My friends, citizens of New Quivershank, we have been dealt a grievous blow this day. Elsie Winchurn, my beloved friend and faithful bodyguard, has been cut down by a treacherous swine. They must be found and brought to justice. She will be avenged. But we must not falter. Elsie believed..." Can't even keep a straight face saying this. "Elsie believed deeply in the cause of our burgeoning, beautiful colony. We must make history so that her name will echo through the ages. in Hespian libraries, in the libraries of New Quivershank, her name will be recorded as the first martyr of our great nation.
as the first murderer of our nation.
Technically not.
We must not stray from our path. Tonight is the night of holding. And whilst it feels a cruelty above all else, we must come together and say our thanks for what we still do have.
I forgot it was the night of holding.
Yep. All troubles in life do pass. And so, like a rock in the great Keel-Touch Strand, we pass it by on our journey to a better tomorrow. And he kind of waits for applause. Does anybody applaud?
Pushkin would fucking applaud. You may be an idiot, but it was still a little bit touching, even though it was completely,
Bullshit.
There's a as Pushkin and the Burgomaster take up the applause. There's a smattering of slow claps from around the crowd, and the Lord holds up a hand, which is not needed as the applause died instantly, and just says, "This eve we will come together on the main deck here as night falls, and great Cena full and strong above us will remind us of what we still have. Adieu, my friends." And heads back inside.
There's definitely some more whispers coming from over here.
Oh yeah, you're a fucking propaganda machine at this point, and people are eating it up. Yum 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 yum. To be clear, is Salia trying to put any plans in action or anything like that yet, or is it just fomenting unrest?
Just sowing the seeds. She just doesn't really like having higher ups. That's all.
Yeah.
You know?
she is a higher up.
Yeah, but she's not acting like one, which is the difference.
Yeah. Completely fair. Makes sense to me. So the crowd somewhat disperses, but still with the situation with the illness, they're stuck on the main deck. So people kind of break off into little separate groups. Some groups more obvious than others. Your own little groups there, but many of the sailors form little groups as well and sit around. Poria is taking care of the situation with security. The sun, high fire, is slowly cresting towards the horizon. Is there anything else anyone would do before we come to dusk?
Pushkin would do one thing if he could gather up his little group.
Yeah, you can gather up your group, no problem.
He would be deadly serious. He wouldn't be like trying to trifle around.
Mm-hmm.
He'd basically try and imping on these people that he chose them.
Mm-hmm.
They all they know how to grow food, they know how to hunt, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, if anything goes down, just make sure that you're all safe, because you're the key to everyone surviving on this ship.
Hey, so look out for each other, because we are key people.
Well, more like you need to survive so everyone can survive. He's trying to make them feel very important, and that's why he's got them together. So don't get involved in anything stupid.
Okay, very good. You would have. It would probably be the mother, Thick Oof.
Yeah.
Come to you, kind of off to the side, and pull on your sleeve, and in broken common, just say, my daughter's not with us
Pushkin would put his hand on her shoulder and be like, "You have to look out for your family before people you barely know."
He nods like enthusiastically. Can bring to us?
Sort of like sighs. He's like, "No." He sort of like shrugs. He's like, "Just trying to make sure everybody survives."
He nods, gives you like a I understand look, and goes back and begins conversing in Goblin with the rest of her family who are present. Because you know that
Yeah.
Tick Yella and Tick Zack are part of Salia's group.
If they looked over at Pushkin, he'd just give them like a nod, like an understanding nod, like they gotta do what they gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
He's not trying to get in their way.
Makes sense to me. Okay. God, I didn't see it. Everything going this way. Dusk comes about as the sun falls in the sky. You have not been found, Eleanor. On Pushkin's advice, Toria has essentially locked down the top deck and the marine deck, which is the top two decks. The citizen deck and the cargo hold deck currently are not under any kind of lockdown. But night comes around. People do gather. There's a lot. The vast majority of people here are Hespian born and have grown up with this tradition every year of coming together for the night of holding. Lord Ernst comes and he's brought a lot of different things from his cabin. There are a lot of colourful and ornate lanterns and things like that. And people are gathered around different light sources on the deck. Some torches are lit with careful attention paid. Obviously, you're on a wooden ship. But people are careful and they gather around in their groups, and people begin to go through the ritual of the night, which varies by family and varies by group. But essentially, you sit together and you go round and you say what you have and what you are thankful for. And traditionally, you give thanks to Cena, the Great Moon, who hangs beautifully in the sky up above you. Cena is a huge moon. She dominates the night sky, shining bright light down upon you all, this full moonlight. And this is the month where Cena is at her fullest. The two smaller moons, Lautry and Filtry, currently cannot be seen. They are both on this day in particular. In new moon forms, there's like the barest glimpse of them either side of Cena, the mother moon. Is there anything your characters would particularly say? What they have, what they are thankful for?
Pushkin do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can he get to where Chuck is?
Chuck would have joined your group.
He would take Chuck aside and basically just try and be like, "Chuck, you're different. If people are going to turn on people, you might be So if anything happens, just come to me and I'll defend you." And then he'd be like, "Friend" on them.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, there'd be no big smile this time. There'd be no expression at all, but one of the pseudopods would kind of wrap itself around your hand and give you like this small little up and down shake and just say, "Run, Pushkin." And he'd kind of sit next to you.
I think Pushkin would just be very quiet the rest of the night.
Yeah. The Lord, in a perhaps surprising, perhaps impressive, perhaps neither effort, actually moves between the groups and sits for a second. He clearly means well, but he doesn't do a great job reading the atmosphere of a lot of the different groups, and as he says what he's thankful for, he tends to start off well, but can't help himself and starts to be like, and then there's the 3 Glamorand-made candelabra down in the cargo hold. Those were a great acquisition, got them at a bargain at a market. And there's a lot of glares and such going across. So a mixed response to him as he moves around. But the citizens, the people, take this very seriously, and especially in this distressing time in a place that's still unfamiliar to them. This is a real note of home, where they pull together. Families very much break from between your assigned groups, and unless anyone tries to stop them, they would join up and have their own little circles, and their own little rituals and ways of doing things. But it's quite a beautiful sight under the light of Cena, all these different cultures and family groups joined in a uniting moment of giving thanks and taking stock of what you have, and especially on a day where things can disappear and can be taken from you in the blink of an eye and in flash of emotion and the madness of life. It's important to take stock of what you still hold. But time passes. People say their thanks. Things happen. Eleanor, you're crouched in the darkness of the crate. And the rest of you up on the top deck perhaps wonder what the next day will hold as you close in on your destination of the Serrated Isles.
How far did we move that day?
Sorry?
How far did we move that day?
We've actually already done the movement for day 3. This campaign is not what I thought it would be, but I absolutely adore it. You're probably about a day and a half out now.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not long.
From the island. And a lot of the madness that I thought might happen has already happened. I do need some rolls from people, though. Could I have... Let me just make sure this makes sense in my head. No. Yeah. Pushkin. So Kieran, just a D20, please. I need one from Natalie as well.
D20.
D20.
Probably so bad on these D20 rolls.
Oh, this is super interesting. And then both Anya and Hannah, if you could each roll a D20 for me, please.
No.
Okay. That's even more interesting. All right. But with Cena full in the sky and things starting to wind down for the night, I will call an end to our session there.